You should be good to go.
All right. This is January 5th, 2021, and the time is 8:30 a.m. And in the Teams meeting for the mayor-manager meeting are Linda Olson, Alex Dortick, Allison McKinney-Brown, Jade Truscott-Reed, Othaniel Sierra, Shawn Lewis, and Stephanie Carlisle. Good morning, everybody, and I'm impressed. We're a team that got here at 8:30 before.
Good morning. Well, we will start with the January.
Alex.
Oh,
Sorry,
yes.
welcome, Alex.
Thanks. Thank you.
We'll start with the January 11th meeting. We have a number of study session items. Walkability in Englewood based on the strategic plan, boarding commission handbook, transportation safety strategies, and this will be a joint presentation between the chief of police and the public works director. We have resident safety, discussion of CARES funding, use and deadlines, and this is the one we just added last night based on council feedback, just to get your feedback to provide to the council on whether or not you want a longer time to spend more of our CARES allocation or just go ahead and submit it for reimbursement for public safety. The Ciac policy recommendation, this is the change that the Code Enforcement Advisory Committee wants to make. And then we have a resolution to adopt Arapahoe County Hazard Mitigation Plan. This is, we must get this one done. And actually, Allison, do we need? Yeah, we've got to vote on that one. So this needs to be converted to a special meeting. Yeah. And for the mayor and the mayor pro tem, we are the grant that we applied for last night, you all endorsed authorizing the mayor to sign. We have to, that project is mentioned in this hazard mitigation plan, but we need to accept it in order to get more points, essentially, to improve our chances of getting that grant. So that we will need a vote on. And then we have mayor's choice for return to in-person.
Oh, wow. So, okay. So, all right. So there's something else we need to do. What did I thought of it before I went to bed when I could not sleep. Gosh. What? And of course I should have written it down when you're laying in bed trying to think, go to sleep. There's another thing that I think we might need to do a special meeting on, or a decision. Let's figure this out and then we'll add it if I think of it as my brain unfogs here.
Well, we will have the ability to do that.
Right.
We'll post the agenda if we do come up with the other item. The only one that we need to assign a time for council discussion is the hazard mitigation plan. Lisa Clay will, I think, be assisting in that presentation, and she's worked with the leadership team over the last several months to put this together. So I don't know how much time it will take you all, but I would assume maybe 15 minutes of discussion plus our 10-minute PowerPoint.
Am I looking at the wrong? I'm looking at my own, but maybe I should. Transportation strategies doesn't have any time, and neither does resident safety.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we need to add times for that. Jade, is there some reason why we don't have presentation times on those?
We unfortunately never received the agenda item pages for these. Okay. Couple times, so I do not have presentation times for them.
I think both of those would be 15-minute presentations.
And these are from the chief.
Well, resident safety will be the chief. I think transportation is going to be more in Maria DeAndre's court, okay, with chief assisting.
Well, let's see. So far, we've got 35 plus 45 plus an hour and 15. It's going to take 15 minutes or longer to do. Do you think the resolution will take very long? We just talked about it last night, but we're going to have to explain why we're doing it.
The resolution itself won't take very long. It's just adopting the hazard mitigation plan. So I think that would just be about how long the presentation about the hazard mitigation plan might be.
And do we know how long? Well,
I think we should spend at least 10 minutes on that, letting you and the public, frankly, know what's in that plan, because this identifies our most likely hazards that we could face and how we're going to respond to them. And it is a county-wide plan, but we need to adopt it as a jurisdiction within the county.
okay. Okay, so that's helpful. The county did develop it. We have to adopt it. We might have questions about it, but can we even change anything in it?
Yes, we can for Englewood.
Okay. And then the CEAC.
It's probably a 5-minute presentation.
I forgot, what is it that they're wanting to change?
They're wanting to request that the city attorney rewrite a section of the code.
Yeah, which section is that? The
dangerous animals, I believe.
yeah, and they have ideas of what they want it to read, right?
You now know all. You now have all of my knowledge. I was going to say I'm not even sure who's doing the presentation on that.
Huh.
Would that be the chair of the CEAC?
I would suspect so.
Or it could be the council liaison to the CEAC. And you know, this is one of the things that we are addressing in the board and commission handbook is what is the process for a board or commission to direct the city attorney's office or the city manager's office to do some work on behalf of the councilor or the commission. And what Shawn and I've come up with is it needs to run through the council liaison to the city council. So I'm almost wondering if this is a request, if it should be the council liaison who brings a request forward. Those are my ideas, just ideas.
Yeah, when they've come to us before, it's usually been the chair. I don't mind who does it, just we need to have someone clearly doing it. And you don't know any more than that they're requesting this. Well, we got a letter. We got a request, right? In an email from them.
We did, yes. I just can't put my finger on it.
And so, yeah, this has kind of been sitting in the back burner for several weeks. Okay, so it's really just a decision about asking the attorney's office to write something if we think it needs to be rewritten, right?
Yes, although your city attorney's office is going to be short-staffed, so you're going to have to discuss that as well.
Allison, can I ask about the process after it comes in front of council? Because I see what I hear what you're saying, but also if city council was to approve having the city attorney's office, city manager look into this, would the rewrite then come back to council and then
yes.
vote in?
Well, you know, honestly, no, it would go to the Code Enforcement Advisory Committee for their review to make sure that it reflected the policy recommendation that they're advocating for. And then it would come forward from the Code Enforcement Advisory Committee to the city council.
Okay.
Yeah, it would eventually come back to us. That's what we did with the snow removal.
Yeah, I mean, all code changes are finally approved by the city council. It's just this, instead of going straight to the city council, it would go back to the CEAC.
And this is a pretty straightforward change, I think. I mean, it may take a lot of code rewriting, like Allison says, but I did want to mention it's simply to allow code enforcement, animal control officers to be able to impound animals other than just dogs and cats, which is what the current code says. I think that's the crux of it.
Okay.
That should be pretty easy. Why do I not remember that?
I mean, it looks like the code maybe will take a lot of unwinding. There are contradictory sections perhaps, but yeah, the question before council may be relatively simple.
Was there a specific animal that came up that pushed this, or was it just a recognition?
It's all kinds of animals.
Yeah.
We impound occasionally.
Okay.
It's been challenged in court when we impound, you know, a raccoon, a pet raccoon, because I'm just making that up, because it's not listed in the code that code enforcement has the authority to do that. So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Let's see then. Maybe this is it just a 20-minute conversation overall? We'd let them present. Nathaniel, is it member Russell now that's the liaison? It's not both of you anymore, right?
No, I think it's member Russell and member Stone. I think there's still two.
Stone. Okay. Why don't we reach out to them and ask, do they want to have the chair present?
Mm-hmm.
Or do they want to present?
Right. Okay.
We can do that.
I mean, we have boards and commissions come before us and make recommendations. This is really something they've been working on, I guess, right? And
who's taking that action to follow up with member Russell and member Stone?
Jade will.
Okay.
Thank you, Jade.
Thank you.
all right, so then back to the transportation safety strategies. Let's also on these, I really would like us to make it clear on the agenda whether it's information only or whether we need to make some action or direction, I guess, not action, but direction. I think we sometimes have that on there and sometimes we don't.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So it's going to be a presentation of existing strategies and then just a conversation with council on if there are others needed.
So you want feedback on it?
Yes.
And the walkability in Englewood, we need what from us?
It's the same thing. So these are strategies that are in your strategic plan.
Right.
And yeah, so we'll go over the existing strategies. For instance, I know Councilmember Anderson wants to beef this up a bit. So we'll just be getting brainstorming with council about other goals for us to develop to incorporate.
Information and direction on the first one, information and direction on the second one, right? Boarding commissions.
Yes, correct. Yes.
Information and direction on transportation strategies.
Yes.
And information and direction on resident safety. Yes, no?
Yes, sorry.
And then the resolution is a decision, and CEAC policy recommendation is info and direction, whether we take it back or not, and then return to in person definitely is direction. I think that's helpful for everybody to know ahead of time what we're asking for.
And sorry, I must have missed this one. The CARES funding, that would be information and direction as well?
Which one?
Yes, it would be. CARES.
Oh, we put the CARES in there, sorry.
Mayor, just a quick question. Does every council member look at this document? Or do we make it, because I'm just trying to think like within the packet, it won't show information direction. It
has in the past.
Has it?
We'll
Okay.
reflect that on the agenda so that so people can see it on the agenda. We can reflect that.
Yeah, we used to do it and we've kind of done it on and off and we haven't done it for a while. And I think it's really helpful to say information direction or just information only so that everybody knows that, what you don't want direction, you just want to give us info right now. We're not ready for anything else. We're always giving feedback, but
I guess it's in the summary, but no, it'd be good if it's stated clearly.
Yeah, I think it's nice when it's on the topic line. That's where we used to have it all the time. I love that there's times in there too. I don't know if they look at this agenda though, Nathaniel, and I wish that they would, because sometimes they ask questions. I mean, we all should be looking at it, but it's hard to remember it. We do put things up here that they ask for, so.
And we do include that in every Friday packet.
Yeah.
This document. So do you want to assign a discussion time on Ciac? I would say 15 minutes. Oh, you said 20, but yeah.
Yeah. It might be a no-brainer, like, yes, we didn't change this, go forward.
Okay.
I would say a 5-minute presentation for Ciac and maybe 10 to 15 minutes.
Great.
If we make up time, great.
And then Jade, I think on the, oh, you have another one, transportation strategies. Jade, have you received anything on this one in the packet, for the packet?
Sorry, my mic was on mute. I am going into iCompass right now to look at the council communication, but I have not received sheets for either of these two. The only thing that I received was an email with the description and the title and who would be.
Okay, well, okay, good. Well, as long as you've received that, I just want to make sure that they're on track to get this produced. But I would say probably 20 minutes on this one for discussion.
Okay.
And probably the same with resident safety.
And how long's the presentation?
We have it down for 15. We can probably do that in 10 on both of these, actually.
Let's tell people. Get it down to 10.
Yeah, Jade, we'll just put both of those at 10 minutes for transportation and resident safety. That'll work. All right.
What are we at now with numbers there?
About 3 hours.
Yeah, about 3.
Well, scroll up. Oh, that is up. That's all the way.
The mayor's choice, but.
All right, we ready to move on?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Sure. All right, January 19th, we will have 3 study session items: the Xcel Energy update on transmission line, the DRCOG area agency on aging presentation, and status update on short-term renewals, the focus on enforcement. And then moving on to the action items, we will have an award of a contract to Elite Surface Infrastructure for construction of the Englewood Service Center drainage and parking lot improvements, annual highway user tax fund mileage certification form. And yes, I think that could be consent. I think we do that every year. Award of contract to HTR Engineering for engineering services on South Englewood Storm Sewer Outfall Project. OpenGov renewal agreement number 1, and we are expanding the OpenGov contract a bit to include our capital plan.
You're opening it up more?
We are expanding it because it. Oh, I get it. Slow on the uptake here. Motion to approve utility billing software contract with Cogsdale. You don't have the report title on this resolution. Oh, but it's the approval of bulk fuel and fluids purchase with Hill Petroleum. And then it looks like that's a repeat on the next one, Jade, maybe. Looks like they're the same.
Yes,
And the reappointment of Associate Judge David A. Spricase. And then T-norm ordinance changes is something that South Platte Renew is bringing forth, some regulatory. Police Department budget supplemental. This is the one that I think we thought we needed this, but we don't.
No, we don't. It's a resolution by charter, and resolutions by charter are only require a single action. So
Last
that's
night.
done.
Great. And then Title VII, Public Aid. This is the second reading of that ordinance that you did last night. And then same with the ethics policy.
I remembered what it is.
Good.
Let's put an earmark in it, but we need to approve a contract with GovHR, and is it possible that we could do that next week so that we can get going?
If they get a contract to us, if we can get a contract, yeah, wait, let me visit with Shawn, because have we even been working since it's, I don't think it has to go to the city council because
Oh,
it's
right.
It's
The dollar amount, yeah.
Okay. Maybe just a note of that in your final thing, Shawn, so that they know that. Yeah, great. That was the item. I was worried that we had to make a decision, but you're right, it's under the amount and we agreed to go with them. Consensus wise. Okay, great, thanks.
But I will include a copy of that. How about in the Friday packet or something?
Wonderful.
Or send it out in advance. So that's everything on January 19th. Any questions?
This is a lot, again. The area aging on the Dr. Cog, how much time could we give them? Because, I mean, I don't want to make this a 20-minute thing and then be done, because that's not what, there's a lot there.
You know, I think probably you know more than the rest of us. Are her presentations usually maybe 10 minutes or so, or 15? I don't know.
Yeah, well, Jalen really has, I mean, she has so much data. She has so much data. So if we are telling her we want Englewood data on aging, what the demographics are looking like, what the major issues are, concerns, what our assets are, where we might have some vulnerabilities for aging here, and compare it to the metro area.
Mm-hmm. So I think 15.
Yeah, if she could do a 15-minute presentation and then we do a Q&A.
Jade, this is on the Dr. Cog above, right there. Second one, yeah. Yeah, and she is slated to attend. She sent us a rough outline, and Mira, I gave the staff person that's working with her your thoughts on what the presentation should include.
Great. So maybe 15, 20 minutes Q&A with her.
Sure.
So, yeah, will it really take Excel as a 10-minute? Okay, let's go back to financials, our 10 minutes presentation. And who's doing that?
That'll be Tim Dodd.
Okay, Tim's on there. Do you think there's going to be much to discuss other than be thankful?
No, it should be just really good news. It looks good.
So maybe just 10-minute Q&A.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I think the whole thing will take, well, whatever we usually put on this one.
It's a new, yeah, why don't we do 10 and 10?
Great.
Have some makeup time there. Will the Excel thing be much of a discussion, or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, they're doing the same thing in every city. It's really more informational.
Are these 4 people presenting, or are they just all coming?
They're just all coming.
Can we tell them we need them to keep it to a 10-minute presentation?
Absolutely.
Could be moved earlier, but not later because of the public rollout. Starts January 20th. Okay. So discussion, do you think we're going to have many questions?
No.
So 10 minutes, maybe?
Sounds good.
Okay.
And Jade, she had, the mayor said on this one, 15 for each.
Sorry about that. I had 15-minute Q&A in my head. Sorry.
All right. On the short-term rental, this is going to be an update of what we're seeing and hearing. And well, is there anything from we had requests from last night, though. There were, I mean,
Yes. I don't know if they were actually council requests, but I'm going to make them into council requests just to, give another report on our enforcement efforts, including the one specific address mentioned.
I think you were going to say something in your manager's report, but was so late you probably didn't, right?
Right.
To correct that. So yes, I'll make that a council request. Can you please get that out to us of what you do know and in response to last night, because that was a lot of similar stuff we'd heard before that I think is developing a narrative that might not be totally accurate.
Right. I will do that. So, what do you think on this one? That presentation, let's whittle that down to 20
10.
minutes at the most.
How-
Maybe we can split the difference at 15.
Okay.
And then how much discussion do you guys want on that? It could be lengthy.
Well, I think part of the problem here is that we have people who voted against this who are still very, upset with that. So it's still a contentious issue. So I don't know. Well, Daniel, what do you think? 20 minutes?
I think it's probably going to go longer than that, honestly.
So how long?
I'm thinking 30 minutes, but I can see it going shorter. I think it's just, I'd say 30 minutes.
Okay. All right, now to the business items. Is that right?
Uh-huh. Any questions on those?
Having a hard time reading it. So, no, what we have to decide what can go.
Yes, we've got I think that the award of engineers can probably go on consent. The OpenGov, like I said, we are increasing that budget, so your call on that. The software is so huge for the utility billing. It's a massive dollar amount.
I think that needs to go on regular.
Yeah. And bulk fuels purchase, we do that every year. So I would say both of those could be.
On consent.
Yes. Yeah, reappointment. Jade just changed that one. Are you okay with that?
I am.
Okay.
I've done it before.
T-norm ordinance, yeah, I can't. I mean, it probably shouldn't be. These are radioactive materials found in our discharge. We should probably have that openly. Mutual aid. Oh, second reading. That was unanimous, I think.
Yeah, I think it was.
And so was the ethics policy.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. We put a lot on consent.
We'll see how many stay.
Yeah. All right. And then are we ready to move on to the 23rd? As I said last night, I'll send out the agenda, but we've just got Mayor, based on your feedback, combining kind of celebrating success with what we can check off of the strategic plan to kind of kick it off, kind of make that maybe something fun. And then we will have the insights training will be there. And then we'll have a brainstorming based on actually the conversations we've had at the previous two council meetings on study session with regard to the sections of the strategic plan, what goals we will need to update, and then just any other goals that we don't have represented in the plan. So those are really the three main pieces of the retreat as we see it right now. But I'll have conversations with council about that this week and next week.
Okay. I will get you my insights. I keep getting locked out of the building and I don't have an electronic copy of it. don't
Okay.
want- So we're under quarantine right now. I have to I think maybe I know somebody who has it. My colleague might have it, and I just don't want to give you the wrong number on what I am.
Yeah, we have time. And then on the 28th of January, we have a joint council meeting with Sheridan and Littleton. And we're finalizing that agenda. And Mayor, I did send you the draft that the 3 city managers came up with.
Yes.
They'll send that to their mayors.
Okay, I will respond to that today. I think, the answer is yes. I would have what you wanted.
All right. And Jade, make sure that I get that to you too, once we get that, so that you can put it in here. And then February 1st, we have a study session memo on the Englewood. This is our EOP, Emergency Operations Plan. This is something else we've been working a lot on in 2020 amidst the ongoing emergency. So that'll be ready. We'll have a green building code discussion. And the review and discuss draft Englewood emergency. Oh, we got that twice. That is a duplicate. I think you can delete the first one. Yeah. And that's all we have is 2 items right now on February 1st.
Could you remind council in your Friday update that we have the evening with Tri-Cities?
Oh, yes.
Just a reminder. I don't know if people have gotten it into their calendar, and in their heads that we're still
Right.
meeting that week on an evening that's not the normal council meeting.
Gotcha.
Jay, maybe in your thing, that would be best.
Do we know how long that meeting's going to be? Because that looks to be what is that? Is that a Thursday or Wednesday?
It's a Thursday because that's when one of the Littleton people could only make it.
I think the presentations may be not more than 30 minutes, Mayor, with multiple presenters, three or so.
I think we'd be lucky if it was 30 minutes.
Well, in terms of just the presentations, not the discussion, but maybe, yeah.
What, 15 minutes? I mean, what is it? 10 minutes on each study? That's 20 minutes. And then the pestle. And then it's Matt's going to do the weaving it together. I might not have looked at email. Okay.
I think his presentation at the Tri-Cities was 10 maybe.
Yeah, I would say it was 10-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe 35 minutes for presentation, maybe 40. I guess it depends on if we ask people. And then I would say it's going to be a good 2-hour meeting. Don't you think?
Yes, I definitely think.
All right. Might be 2 hours plus. I don't know. I mean, when we do the Platte River annual meeting every year, that thing is an hour-long presentation, if not more. That's not what this is going to be, but it definitely has some hefty data and info being presented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My doggie came to visit. She never comes down here.
All right, moving on to the February 8th meeting, we'll have the Unified Development Code assessment update. We will have charter amendment for election of the mayor discussion and the second reading of the T-norm ordinance. And that's it for that one. February 16th, we have Winslow Crane PUD, vacation of the Huron Street right-of-way. Yeah, this is a new one. And then the 22nd, City of Englewood Sewer Connector District's rate analysis. This is, I think, one of your only open council requests, and we really can't finalize the council request until we have this presentation ready. And then moving into March, we have vacation of a portion of West Cornell Street. We also have, let's see, second reading rather, I think, of the Huron right-of-way abandonment and another Winslow Crane site plan development, first reading.
Could we go back to the finance update? What is that? 10 minutes set aside at one meeting per month for this recurring update. Don't we already do that?
Yes, that was a note that I had in there. It should just say 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's the monthly financial review. Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought it was a decision we were going to have to make to, I'm like, we do that. Okay, great. So Winslow Crane reached out to me and I told them no, I wouldn't meet with them. And I told them that that would be inappropriate given that they have a thing coming up to us. I don't know if they've reached out to other council, if that might be something you want to, I don't know, Allison, has anybody else reached out to you about that?
I haven't heard anything from anyone. Councilmember Anderson and Councilmember Wink have reached out to me in times past about the same general issue. So I've given out that advice multiple times.
Yeah.
If you'd like, I can send a group email out to everybody reminding them about the rules under the zoning code. I mean, the rules for meeting with people who might be presenting to the council pursuant to the zoning code.
When their response to me was thank you and thank you for the direction. So maybe they know that maybe they're not going to reach out to anybody else, but I know sometimes with new people, hopefully they won't reach out. Don't worry about it.
I was gonna say they haven't reached out to me.
And then I do have a handful of council requests. Is snow removal enforced proactively or by complaint? From Cuesta, Russell, how many snow violations have been issued this season? Please provide a map of locations to note whether the violation was residential or at a construction site. Russell, how much are we paying for lodging revs and how many citations have been given? So sorry, I guess that was a council request. And then I'll add some of your questions, Mayor. And then Councilmember Wink, and actually maybe she withdrew this, but she did say, is there liability for council members of the city based on Member Anderson's promotion as a qualified suicide prevention specialist? I don't know if I got that exactly, but.
Yeah, that's actually asking about the Colorado Governmental Immunities Act. And so Alex is already preparing something. We'll get that sent out.
Okay, thank you. And that's all I had, Mayor.
That seems like it follows what I had. Nathaniel, did you hear anything else or anyone else?
Yeah,
anything
John
else?
Stone's request to come back and talk about the COVID-19 support the community.
Oh, wasn't that?
What
I'm
was it?
not sure if we completely covered it though.
What was the question? I'm forgetting.
So John Stone wanted to have a study session on how do you, well, I think we have it coming up in January.
We have.
Is it part of that or no?
It's actually, I thought it was use of the unassigned fund balance. Was that?
I thought he was talking about.
For rental assistance and things like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was still COVID-19. I didn't know it was unassigned
I
fund.
thought it was COVID-19 stuff too, and I think it was figuring out how to use that $500,000 differently. Which is what I thought you were putting on the agenda on the 11th. Is that, did I misinterpret that?
Right. Yeah, exactly, that line item.
Jade, can you put your cursor? Oh, you are on it. Okay, yeah, we can combine that as part of this discussion, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought that's what we were already doing with that. So that's great. Thanks for catching that, Nathaniel.
But that's all I have.
I don't think there was anything else last night, was there? Was there something from? Yeah. In the coming back, I wonder if we can get an update on where other cities are in what they're doing and their hybrid capabilities. I think I would like to see us get to some point where we can do some hybrid kinds of things. And what would that take to do that?
We can start looking into that.
There are many cities that are doing it in the metro area. Well, they're setting up to do that. I don't know if they're doing it yet. Most cities, from my understanding, at least before the holidays, was everybody was staying on Zoom. That's partly because we went to red as well. And the holidays, we didn't have meetings.
And so you're wanting information of how it would look for council to potentially do a hybrid model as well as citizens and staff. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for instance, if one of us tested positive COVID, can't come to a meeting, but we can via Zoom, how do we do that? And if we're back, or who knows? But
then also for public comment.
And then for public, so that we have public that come that really would never have come. And I want to keep that open. I'd like to at least have a conversation with council about keeping that open for people.
Okay.
Hey, Mayor and Shawn, do we want to put something on here for your Mayor's Choice regarding the magazine, Citizen Magazine?
Oh, thank you. When that's actually that's actually, we probably need some work on that before it comes back, right? Of what are some of the limitations. And
I'm going to defer to Alex because he's going to have to handle this one.
I would say that since we, have just put out the quarterly magazine, that we could put this in some of our lesser full agendas at the end of January or 1st of February.
I was going to say February 8th would be the first study.
Okay, should put it on there.
Well, and another thing that's going to have to be an issue on this is whether this is, depending on what the council is asking, whether we're talking about an executive session or a regular session.
For talking about this?
Yes.
Unless I'm misunderstanding what you're asking, if depending on what sort of information the council is seeking, whether you're seeking information on the general state of the law or whether you're seeking on application of that to your specific legal issues, I know that it's always difficult to sort of draw the line between executive session for legal advice and just the general advice that is given to a city council by an attorney during regular sessions. But my fear is that any discussion quickly gets into, well, what should we do? Well, especially on an issue like this, that's way more of an executive session type of issue than it is a regular session, because what you're going to be essentially asking is, city attorney, how should we address this subject given our specific set of facts? And it's an especially large concern because this is a very controversial and unsettled area of the law.
Okay.
Whenever you have a lot of 5-4 Supreme Court decisions, certainly it's not like anyone can come in and say, yeah, here's the state of the law and this is how you have to apply it.
So we have liability with a conversation is what you're talking about.
You may.
Okay, so that because of some of the liability, it needs to be.
Well, and it's not so simple to just say that there's liability for it. I mean, in general, if you want a lawyer to give you good legal advice, you want it to not be open to the public, and you want to be able to make statements to that attorney that are not subject to disclosure because you're seeking the advice of an attorney. and you still want to be able to take advantage of attorney-client privilege.
Okay. Let's put it into February then, and I guess, would it be possible for you to, Alex, think through what are some of the items we need to talk about that could be done publicly, and what, I mean, I think seeking some guidance on what the limited nature is of this kind of a public forum in a written form is what we're trying to get at. We've never had this conversation before about, and can we set guidelines for that or not? And
well, and honestly, I think this is this is where things get really difficult because
Alex, I'm
yes.
gonna interrupt you here, and the answer to you, Mayor, is yes, we can do that. And my concern at this point is this is a recorded meeting, and I don't want to begin to get close to the attorney-client issues that we might be discussing.
right, okay.
So we can do that, but Alex is absolutely right. This is going to have to go on a regular session meeting because based on some of the comments that were made at last night's meeting, it very likely is going to require at least a portion of the discussion be an executive session.
Okay. So we'll leave that in your hands about how to go about that, and let's push it into February. Shawn, when is the annual report thing coming out?
Actually, it should be start going out this week.
Okay. And then the next citizen is?
That will be your spring issue. So we have a few months.
Probably in March.
Yes.
Okay. I think you're right with Annie. We've got some time on this.
Yeah.
Can I ask a clarifying question in regards to the charter amendment for election of the mayor? I guess I just need a little bit of context, and I'm assuming I would be preparing information in regards to this, what a charter amendment would look like. But I didn't know, is somebody specific bringing this forward? Is this just re-engaging that conversation? I just want to make sure that we know who's kind of spearheading that and what council's looking for information-wise.
Well, I think all of council agreed they would have the conversation later, later at the beginning. We made a decision on the last time that it was too early, that it didn't fit the timing right because it tied one seat up as being the mayor rather than some options. So I think myself and Dave Cuesta have been talking and working on this for a while. I'm totally supportive of it at this point, unless we find something that's really weird. I'm glad to even lead that, to give some perspective on it. But it would be, I think the council just knows we want to have this conversation. How do we set it up? What have other cities done in different formats of what it would look like for how long? We have to make some decisions on whether it's a 2-year, 4-year, on how the rotation works. Are we giving up and when it would go in effect?
Okay.
It should be easy to find some other cities. 2 cities have just done it. Littleton did, and then I can't remember the other one, North.
Okay, we can look at that. So we'll just get the information together, but it's primarily, that's being led by council.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I'll work on that, and then I can touch base with you.
Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's all.
That's
Right.
it.
All right. It's 9:19, and this ends the mayor manager meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Have a great day, everyone.